Welcome back to the Sideline Sorcerers. Man, this was just one of those weeks in the NFL where I had no idea what was coming. There were so many bait and switches. I feel so many games that I thought was going the way I thought they were going to go, and then they completely flipped on its head. But I got to commend you. You had a phenomenal week, not only in your bets, but also just in your win-loss record. Really, really impressive in a week where I thought there was quite a bit of carnage.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I know it wasn't your best week, but you still had a winning record despite having many games different than I did. And there's something to be said for that for sure. You're still positive on the week, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter when there's 16 games, should be better than 9-7. I mean, but if you look at it, New England only lost by one, Atlanta only lost by four, yet Kirk Cousins threw four interceptions. They lost it by as many
Hmm.
points as Kirk threw interceptions. The Jets
Yeah.
had a 21-7 lead that they blew. Cincinnati, we all know
Classic,
what
classic
happened
Jets,
there.
though.
And New Orleans is probably the one I missed on the most, but Carolina had the Bucks dead to rights in
I
overtime.
know, dude.
All they had to do was take a knee, kick a field goal, but instead they try
Yeah.
and get some more yardages, and Chuba Hubbard fumbles. And then obviously Baltimore just, yeah, I mean, Justin Tucker is a horrible kicker now. So, but I mean, I know we both missed that one. It's just there was some bad beats.
Yeah, you were right on the edge of all of those, honestly. I mean, it's very possible all four of those games could have gone your way.
I
And
mean, I
I'm
just
the
wanted the
one.
Panthers one, man. Like, if
Yeah.
all those weren't gonna hit, just give me
Hmm.
the Panthers. And it looked like it was gonna go that way. I mean, the Bucks had to nail a 50-yarder
Yeah.
and then some just to go to overtime. So,
Hmm. Well, at least you cashed your spread bet on the Panthers, though. It didn't come
oh
through for the
yeah.
money line, but Panthers plus 6 was the play.
Yeah, no, there's definitely been value in Panthers lately. They've covered almost all the spreads over the last 4 or 5 games. I went 2017-2 in my bets. Don't know if that's profitable or not, but as per usual, I always start off kind of hot Thursday and then in the
Hmm.
college football and then kind of fizzle out as the week goes on.
Dude, your college bets were actually fire this week.
Yeah,
What
I
did you
was
hit?
feeling good,
Like
dude.
you hit like 12 of your first like 14,
Yeah, I
something
mean,
like
there was
that.
the Stanford that was a refund. They lost 37-34 and the spread was 3. Vanderbilt, Tennessee, that went way over, and Ohio State, the spread there
Hmm.
wasn't even close. But I felt really good about all those other ones.
Yeah. My best bets this week were solid and hit four of them, lost one, and honestly, the Detroit game, honestly, they should have had that as well. They also
Hmm.
just let the Bears crawl back from their
Yeah,
16-0 lead there. I mean, it just didn't look like the usual Detroit team that we see on a weekly basis here. But how about the horrible clock management of Goose? He's out of there, and even potential for Marcus Freeman now to take his spot.
yeah.
You hear
If
about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Marcus Freeman, I don't know why you'd ever want to leave Notre Dame and come coach the Bears. But
I mean, if they
yeah, he's
offer like a
definitely.
$10 million pay raise.
I mean, he's making good money. He's making like 10 mil right now a year. So I don't know if the Bears got that kind of cash. They're pretty stingy. But no, yeah, I mean, Detroit just struggled in the red zone and then was really bad in the second half. Otherwise, they should have covered that spread for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. But I'm gonna probably bet them again this week and see what happens just because they've been so kind to me all year. Last week was an exception.
Yeah, they've been a cover horse for sure, an absolute
Yeah.
wagon. Speaking of which, let's get into the Week 14 picks and predictions with that Detroit game. They're now hosting Green Bay after going into Lambeau and beating them several weeks ago. But it feels like one of those games. Detroit's a little banged up. I kind of like the inverse. The road team wins in the divisional rivalry both times. So I'm gonna take Green Bay here. Actually, just I think they're gonna capitalize on some of those Detroit injuries. Detroit's due for a loss, especially after what we saw against the Bears last week. I mean, so many of their players dropped. It was really tough to see. Especially though, that plus 3.5 for the Packers looks really yummy. You get the field goal and the hook. So I'm gonna ride with that.
Not a bad pick for sure. I'm still gonna be picking Detroit though. I just feel like last week was sort of a fluky incident where they let up all those points to the Bears. If they had just kept up their first half mojo, that mentality, they would have pulled away with that game. I'm not sure what happened there, but I just think if they're able to string that together again here for a full 4 quarters, they'll be back to their usual selves and they'll be able to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, they very well could. Being at home for them is pretty big.
Yeah.
Cleveland at Pittsburgh, so we get another repeat division rivalry game here. This is one where Cleveland won that snow game just a couple weeks ago. I'm going to take Pittsburgh here. They're at home. Cleveland coming off an emotional loss, high scoring. Pittsburgh coming off an emotional, high scoring win. But I just think they're better. It's going to be really tough for Cleveland to beat this solid team twice within the span of 3 weeks. So, yeah, definitely Steelers for me.
Yeah, I never expected the Steelers to be so solid this year, especially not 9-3. I don't even think I had them going 500 on the year.
Yeah,
So the
I
fact that
agree.
they're already like 750 is crazy. In any case, I will be taking the Steelers here. Just feel like it's hard for a team to win 2 consecutive division games like that against the same team, same year. So it just feels like it's got to be Pittsburgh here.
Yeah, I totally agree. New Orleans at the Giants. This is a game probably no one will watch unless you're a fan of these two teams. It's been rough. Really thought New Orleans could get things back on track by beating the Rams at home. As we saw, that did not pan out. Giants here now at home. I still gotta take the more talented team in the Saints. It feels like the Giants are tanking. They did finally go with the better QB option in Drew Lock last week, and he definitely showed some flashes, but their offensive, capacity really is limited
hmm
right now. They struggled in that first half against Dallas. So I'm going to continue the ride with the Saints, even though they've let me down here over the last month, 2 months after that 2-0 hot start.
I know, dude. They were looking so electric at the start of the season and they just regressed big time. We were both pretty high on them before the season even started, and they were looking so hot and they just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
With that in mind, the Giants had a further fall off the cliff. I mean, they are worse than the Saints team, bro. You got to take the Saints here.
Yeah. No, I would feel better about it if it was home for them, but still I'm going
Yeah.
to ride with them. Jets at Miami. I'm done picking the Jets, man. That was abysmal. You can't give up that kind of lead at home. That was just tough to watch. Really disappointing to see Aaron Rodgers, speaking of falling off cliffs, his
hmm
career and legacy almost. So I'm going to ride with the Dolphins here at home. I mean, I don't love this pick as it is, though, but the Jets, I mean, they're going to eventually pull one out. They're going to pull
Yeah.
one out. They got the talent on the offensive side of the ball to do it, but let's just say hopefully it's not this week.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just crazy that every single week we or you continue to pick them and they just continue to let us down. It's just
Yeah.
atrocious. Like they feel like the better team
I
and
mean,
then
they
they
should have
still
been in the
lose.
Colts just a couple
I
weeks ago. They
know.
should have been in the Seahawks just this past week. So,
Yeah. It's ridiculous, man.
yeah.
I don't know what to make of it, but I can't wager any coin on the Jets
No.
here. It's got to be Miami, even though Miami has struggled a lot recently. It's just the Jets just look like an unbettable team.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to take the Dolphins kind of like with much confidence after
It
they just
is,
got
yeah.
walloped. But hey,
Yeah.
it's just that home and away thing for them. They go up into the cold. They're a completely different roster.
hmm
Jacksonville at Tennessee, another game I don't think too many people are going to tune into, but I am going to roll with the Titans here. I thought they'd look a little bit better against the Commanders last week, but they just got outgunned early and
hmm
often, and they couldn't make that up. But they haven't been that bad. Their defense has been pretty solid. Will Levis looking better. So I'm going to take him here at home. We all know Trevor is going to be out for the Jags. Mac Jones comes in, though, and plays pretty well against the Texans. Does that worry me? Yes, a little bit. Still gonna take Tennessee though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also going to be taking Tennessee here. I don't believe in Mac Jones enough to be picking him to lead Jacksonville here to a win. A Jacksonville team that's honestly struggled pretty much all season here. And with a backup QB in, there's just no way that they're going to beat even a bozo team like Tennessee.
Yeah, I concur. Atlanta at Minnesota. Wow, both of these teams had weird games last week. Minnesota coming back from a deficit, winning by 1 point. Atlanta, taking an early lead there, getting a turnover. Kirk Cousins just falling into the depths, the absolute abyss. I mean, throwing four interceptions. He has not had a touchdown pass in like 3, 4 weeks. And he's had a couple games this year where he's gone absolutely off for four touchdowns, 500 yards. We saw that against the Bucks. I don't know what's going on, but he's in trouble right now with Michael Penix's first round pick right behind him on the bench. Would not be surprised if he gets some playing time if Kirk plays bad. Would not be surprised if he's named the starter in the next couple weeks here. So this is an easier one this week. I'm gonna roll with the Vikings, and I'm not gonna look back.
Yeah, no, it's crazy that we're in this situation that Kirk might be benched at this point for Michael Penix Jr. Didn't think that going into the season. Everyone was laughing at the Michael Penix Jr. pick, like, hey, maybe,
Yeah.
this Kirk thing won't work out for them. But now here it is. It might not be working out, and it seems like it could be a reasonable draft pick now. No confidence in Atlanta here. It's got to be Minnesota this week.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a reasonable draft pick, but in the
Hmm.
context of how much money they paid Kirk Cousins,
Yeah,
I don't think
that's true.
drafting any quarterback in the first round, no matter what happened, was reasonable.
Hmm.
And also, through the first half of the season, it looked like Kirk was great. But hey,
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe he's going to come back. This is a revenge game, you could think, and he just goes absolutely nuts. This is his
possibly.
old
Yeah,
team after all.
yeah.
Carolina at Philadelphia, obviously taking the Eagles here, but Vegas continues to undervalue the Panthers. I think the spread is 12 and a half. Give me that all day long. Bet that up. Maybe that'll go up to 13, 13 and a half. That is a beautiful number. Again, like I said, the Panthers have been covering week in and week out ever since Andy Dalton got in the car accident. Got
Hmm.
hurt, obviously hasn't played. Bryce has been back, played a lot better than, what we've gotten accustomed to with Bryce. So, although I like the Eagles, I like the Panthers to cover.
Good stuff there. I like the pick a lot. I'm going to be taking the Eagles here as well. I mean, they just took down a huge team in Baltimore. Just an unbelievable performance there. Really impressed with the way they've come back after a really shaky end to last season. And they've been looking solid, dude. I have no hesitancies picking them over Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, we're right at that point last year where they completely fell off. So we're,
Yeah.
gonna have to see here. This is a game where, they could definitely get away with and play poorly. But, coming
Hmm.
down the schedule, they're gonna get Washington again. They're gonna get Dallas again.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Vegas at Tampa Bay. I love these two teams, battling it out. Very, similar type of mascots, piratey themed. I love that shit. I'm gonna take the Bucks though. They eked one out against the Panthers, very luckily so, thanks to a Chuba Hubbard fumble. And he knew it. I don't know if you saw, but Chuba was like the last guy sitting on the Panthers bench, like long after the game was over. He was just posted
Mhm.
up there, just thinking about how he screwed me over. Because I know that's exactly what was on his mind. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Bucks for obvious reasons here. Vegas, has managed to also be pretty good at covering in some of these games, especially against the Chiefs. They should have beaten the Chiefs easily. But, that's a gut punch. The fact that they, missed three field goals, fumble, whatever, didn't win that game. Now you got to go on the road, cross country. You're going to lose.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a fair pick. I'm also going to be taking Tampa Bay here, but I have a little bit more concern. This one feels like a solid matchup to me, bro. Vegas has not been that bad this year. Like I know their record doesn't show it, but they have put up a solid fight in games, and their offense has been putting up points. Their receivers are producing numbers. I mean, I think that Vegas is a little bit better than people give them credit for. I'm still going to be taking Tampa Bay, but I think this game's a little bit closer than we haven't made out here.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they almost beat the Chiefs as a 12-point underdog is
Yeah.
absolutely absurd.
Hmm.
Seattle at Arizona here. So we just saw this game a couple weeks ago in Seattle. They won. Now it's in Arizona. I'm going to take the Cardinals to bounce back. I mean, they had an absolutely atrocious performance against the Seahawks, only putting up 6 points. I think Kyler the pick six in that game. And again, they just lost a tough one to Minnesota. So I'm going to take the Cardinals here to bounce back in a big way.
Yeah, I'm also taking the Cardinals here. Like we mentioned earlier, it's hard to beat a division rival twice in the same year, so it feels like this is Arizona's time to win the game here.
Chicago at San Francisco. Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to take the Bears here.
Oh.
You guys know my methodology when it comes to firing your head coach midseason. That team is riled up. The team, I mean, they are capable of beating the 49ers based on how we've seen both of these
Hmm.
teams play over the last couple weeks. The Bears, at least, are losing in very close manners, whereas the Niners have gotten blown out in their last two performances. The Niners really stood no chance in that snow game against the Bills. Take the
Hmm.
weather out of it, they probably didn't stand a chance either, but they just looked absolutely
Right.
miserable. I know they're at home here, but the Bears are going to be absolutely invigorated, and I'm
Hmm.
going to definitely, I mean, I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to pick them. I definitely like the number, though. It's +4.
Yeah, no, I like the pick a lot, dude. I'm also taking the Bears here. 49ers have just not looked like the same team that they were last year. And, add on insult to injury here. They just lost McCaffrey. They lost Jordan Mason. They're enlisting third
Hmm.
stringer Isaac
Hmm.
Guerrero to lead their
Oh, yeah.
backfield. But yeah, I mean, this is not the same 49ers team that we're used to. And yeah, to your point, Chicago is going to be juiced this week. We're going to see what they can make happen now that Goose is gonzo.
Buffalo at the Rams. Another upset I'm going to take here. Rams are at home. I'm going to ride with them. I just feel that they're due for a big win and Buffalo's due for a loss. I don't love this for the Bills because it really hurts their chances at that number one seed. They already have to
Hmm.
have the Chiefs lose a game. So now if they lose a game, they have to hope the Chiefs lose twice. So it's a tough one here for them, but I am actually going to take the Rams.
That is a wild pick. I mean, with the way Buffalo's been playing, I find it very difficult not to pick them in any game. I mean, they just took down the Chiefs a couple weeks back, which was seemingly the best team in the league. It just feels like a very difficult game to pick the Rams in. I mean, they hardly even beat New Orleans, honestly. I'm really surprised by this pick for you, bro.
I'm just feeling wild. Plus, I got to make up some ground on you. Got to have at
Make up
least a
some
couple
ground.
different here. Yeah.
All right, I'm definitely rolling Buffalo though. I feel
No, I
very
know.
good that they would defeat LA.
Chargers at Chiefs. You know what? Let's just roll with another upset here. I'm going to take the Chargers. Chargers have looked phenomenal defensively. The Chiefs, I mean, I've seen so many videos on YouTube calculating the inches
Hmm.
away from having 4 or 5 losses they are. I mean, the Baltimore game at the very beginning of the season, the blocked field goal, this muffed fumble field goal thing, Aiden O'Connell bullshit
Hmm.
that happened last week on Black Friday. They really should. We'll give them a couple of those, but they should
Hmm.
have two more losses at least. And I just,
Yeah.
luck eventually runs out here. So I'm going to take the Chargers to come into Arrowhead and get a win in a division rivalry game.
The big pick, bro. Well, that would be Buffalo's ticket to the number one seed there. If that
Well,
happens, that
I mean,
comes to
if both of
fruition.
my picks happen, though, then they're back to
Oh,
square one. They still need the
that's
Chiefs to
true.
lose another one.
That's true. I'm betting on the Chiefs to still have a little bit of luck left in the tank here. I mean, LA has been playing very well, but to take down the Chiefs at home feels like a very steep task to me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tall order. I think we can both agree, though, when the Chiefs go out to Denver to play in a couple weeks here, I think a lot of people are going to take Denver, right?
I would take Denver for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So they're definitely going to lose another game or two. I mean, they got the
Hmm.
Steelers on the schedule here as well. So it's going to get
Yeah.
interesting for them. But, anyways, last game here Monday Night Football, Bengals at Dallas. Oh my God. I'm going to take the Bengals again. I just, They should win this game. Dallas is bad at home. Backup quarterback. Their defense has been playing pretty good over the last couple of weeks. They're on a 2 game winning streak, but includes the Giants in there. The Bengals, Joe Burrow continuing to play at an MVP level. He's like the only quarterback with these types of numbers to have such a horrible record. I think every other QB with these types of numbers is at least like 9-3 at this point. I
Hmm.
think Tom Brady or someone was 12-0 at this point. So it's utterly ridiculous. The Bengals defense is pedestrian. I honestly think that Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame's defense could probably put up a better fight than what they're doing over there right now. I mean, it's just absolutely laughable. And yet, I am going to take them here again just because their offense is so good.
Dude, their offense is just unbelievable. Like second to like only Detroit's, it seems to be, if not even right up to par with Detroit, because they are both just putting up so many points every game. And for that reason, I've got to take Cincinnati here. Still gives me concern because of Dallas. Their defense is can be solid. Um, they're not quite as good on offense this year as they have been in the past, but I I still think that they'll be able to put up a good fight against Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati will edge them out though and get a dub.
Yeah, no, I definitely like Dallas to cover in this one. I think there's a lot of value in that. So speaking of which, let's launch on into our best bets here. I'm gonna just rifle through mine because as per usual, I got a whole ass list of them. And because it's FCS playoff time, they actually have the
Hmm.
spreads prepared for those games at this point in the week. So I sprinkled a couple of those in there. There aren't as many college football games at this point because of conference championship week, okay? Thursday night football, like I said, Green Bay 3.5, and I like the over at 51.5 because of those injuries on Detroit's side of the ball. I'm going to take UNLV +4. I almost like them to win in that Mountain West Championship game. I also like the under 58.5 in that game. Then, American Championship game, I like Tulane -4.5 and the over 45.5 in that game. Big 12 championship. I like Arizona State -2 and the under 51 in that game. I think Iowa State will struggle to score. I don't think Arizona State will score all that much either. It really feels like a 23-17, 23-20 type of game there. Montana +22.5 at South Dakota State. That's just too many points to give to a really solid Montana team. I also like Abilene Christian +24.5 at North Dakota State. Just giving these two really good teams 3+ touchdown spreads. That's just too yummy of a number not to take. Then you have the SEC championship. I like Texas -2.5. I really, really like Texas in this game to get revenge against Georgia after Georgia came into Austin and beat the crap out of them. I also like the under 49.5 in that game. Louisiana -5 against Marshall in the Sun Belt Championship game. I like University of California Davis -7 against Illinois State. I like Oregon -2.5. Whatever the odds you get on that for the alternate spread, it's floating between 3.5. So get that 2.5. Protect yourself. And I really do think Oregon even has a chance to blow them out. SMU -2.5, another just great number. And that is just the regular spread against Clemson. I also like the under 55.5 in the game. On to NFL. Miami -6. Why not? It's just because I am so upset with the Jets. I'm
Hmm.
going to take the opposing team to cover. Atlanta, Minnesota, under 45.5. Unders in these Atlanta, Minnesota games have been pretty good. I mean, remember Minnesota, Jacksonville, that was a 12-7 game. Giants +5 because the Saints also are not very good and the Giants are at home. Carolina +12.5. We already talked about that. Cleveland, Pittsburgh over 41.5. Both these teams have been putting up a ton of points. And actually, this line I think has already gone up to 44. But because I have to do these on Mondays, I got that line very tastily at 41.5. I also like the over Jacksonville, Tennessee, 39.5. Arizona -2.5. Great number. Arizona, like I said, I think it'll just, win that game probably by a touchdown or so, and that's 2.5. You got to take it at that number. Rams +4. Bears +4. Bears money line. Why not? I'm also going to toss the Rams money line in there because if I only do one of them, I'm sure they'll bite me in the ass. Chargers +4. I also should put the money line for them in there as well because I think all of those underdogs are going to win. I like the over 43 in that game against the Chiefs. And then finally, Dallas +6 and the under 49.5 in that game. I'm sorry that dragged on.
No, you're good, bro. There's a lot of bets in there. I'm just a little bit sad. We've got a couple conflicting, a couple the same. This is just craziness here.
What are yours?
All of our over-unders, I happen to have the opposite of you.
Oh my God. That is
Oh,
not good at all.
I know that's
That's
rough, bro.
scary.
Cincinnati and Dallas, you're taking the under here. I feel like it's going to go over. They're going to be playing in warmth. Warmth at least, 60, 70 should be fine here in Texas. And with the way Cincinnati's offense has been playing, I feel like both of these teams are going to put up like 30 plus points.
I mean, it very well could happen. I mean,
Hmm.
trust me, I don't feel great about some of these
Yeah,
over-unders, but I just, I think eventually Cincinnati's defense is going to have a good game. You can't
right.
continue to give up 40 and
Hmm.
up points every single week.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Next up, I've got Las Vegas plus 6.5 against Tampa Bay. Like I said, I really think that game's going to be close. I could even see Vegas winning it. I still prefer the Bucks to win the game, but plus 6.5, I really like that bet. Then you've got Tennessee minus 3.5 against Jacksonville. I just don't think Jacksonville is going to be able to do much with Mac Jones leading the team. Then you've got Jacksonville, Tennessee under 39.5. It feels like a game where Jacksonville, dude, I feel like they might only put up like 3 points.
No,
It could be like a 20-3 finish here.
I mean, come on. Jacksonville scored almost all their points, which was 20 against the Texans with Mac Jones in.
Dude, I don't see it for this game. Not this game.
This is one that I feel a little bit more confident on, but okay.
All right. We'll
Or,
see what happens next week. Then you got Chicago money line. I'm taking the same bet there. And then,
whoa.
yeah, no, we like it though. We like that one a lot. Then finally, Chargers Chiefs under 43 feels reminiscent of the game last week against the Falcons. This one feels like it could be like a 17-16 type of finish here.
But that was like the almost exact finish when they played last time. It was 17 to 10, I think, actually.
I
But
It just feels like that's what's gonna happen again, bro.
well, it's gonna be a fun week to follow then. It's basically rivalry week within the pod here
It
with all
seems that
these,
way.
yeah, opposing picks.
Yeah.
Do we have any fan mail sent in
We got the fan mail sent in, bro. Both of them sent in their picks early,
from
and
the Netherlands?
one of their picks was from the Netherlands. So we
Holy
got
cow.
some foreign picks this week.
I like it.
Yeah. Last week Jimbo went 12-4. Solid week there. His internationally selected picks here. Lions, Browns, Saints, Dolphins, Titans, Vikings, Eagles, Bucks, Seahawks, 49ers, Bills, Chargers, Bengals. Now I'm just hoping that Jimbo was locked in when he made these picks because I'm assuming there's a big time difference between here and the Netherlands. So like
Hmm.
he could have sent them at the middle of the night, our time, but it was daytime Netherlands. So just a little bit of caution there if the time difference is impacting his pickage.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you could trust those picks coming from the Netherlands, but I would definitely trust your dad's picks after his 14 and 2 record last week. I mean, it must have just been something in your blood. I
I
mean, you guys
dude,
both went absolutely bananas.
every week he's going bananas though, dude. He's been locked in for these games and he should have known better than to pick the Dolphins as
Yeah.
well last week.
If
So
we combine both of your picks, then I mean, you would have had I mean, how did he pick the Browns too? He could have easily
yeah,
had a 16-0 week.
he could have, bro. He definitely could have had 16-0. Don't think that's ever been done before, but yeah, very solid week out of him for sure. His new picks here: Lions, Steelers, Saints, Dolphins, Jags, Vikings, Eagles, Bucks, Cardinals, Bears, Bills, Chargers, Bengals. He did in fact pick the Bears as well, which is
And the
pretty
Chargers.
exciting.
Look at that.
Oh
Jimmy takes
wow.
the Chargers too.
Holy cow, I'm in the minority here taking the
That
Chiefs.
makes me feel worse about it though, honestly, that
Really?
three of the four of us are on the Chargers. Like it shouldn't be like that with the Chiefs. I mean,
No.
come on. They need to be more respected than that.
They really should, bro. With the amount of luck that they gather in every single game, I mean, it's crazy that we would have that many people picking against them.
But at the end of the day, your dad's been uber successful, so would
Hmm.
definitely be, in your best interest to trail those picks.
Indeed. Yes, sir.
Well, that's all we have for you guys for this installment in the Sideline Sorcerers. Hope you guys can go out there and win some money this week. I mean, again, going 2017-2 last week in my bets is not really where we want to be, but at least in terms of that win-loss record, we're in the plus. So, you got anything else to add?
No, dude, just excited for college football this week. It's gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
exciting and yeah, excited for our rival reaction here with the bets and this week as well.
Yep, super pumped for college football. Notre Dame pretty much clinched a home playoff game, so
I know,
Man,
dude.
I'm gonna
Are
be
you gonna
thirsting.
go?
Oh yeah, yeah. Does the bear
You
shit
have
in
to
the
go.
woods, bro? Yeah, I'll be there.
It seems like you think it could be Bama at home?
It could very well be Bama. Yeah,
Dude, that'd be insane. If
it would be the biggest game. Yeah,
the first ever Notre Dame home playoff game is against Bama,
yeah.
that'd be
No, I know.
legendary.
I know it'd be wild, but there's a couple things that could happen this week that would influence that. If Oregon really beats Penn State badly, Penn State moves behind Notre Dame moves up to the 5 seed, or if Clemson beats SMU, Clemson takes that bye,
Hmm.
and SMU still is in and then edges out Alabama because Clemson has to win in order to get in. Otherwise, they're just eliminated anyways. So
Right.
Alabama wants SMU to win so that there's still a spot in there. So a couple little sliders
Hmm.
that could influence who Notre Dame plays, but if it, just all kind of stays the same, then yes, it would be Bama.
Yeah. The 12 team playoff is just awesome, bro. It's
Yeah, I know.
crazy how much more exciting this season has been with all of these upsets and influencing the playoff picture for college. So much better than that 4 team playoff from
Yeah.
before.
Not even a comparison. I've been enjoying it a lot more than the NFL this
Yeah.
season. I don't know about you guys, but that'll do it for this episode. We will be back next week to recap it all.